All right, ACT Math, ACT Math. Get your calculator out. Hopefully your battery isn't low. Get a preferably calculator you're gonna use on the test. I got my pie shirt ready in preparation for math day. Okay, so here a bit of some credibility. Oh my gosh, okay, some credibilities of mine. I scored a 36 on all 4 sections of the ACT, and math is my strongest suit. I scored a perfect score in math, so hopefully I know what I'm talking about to help you get a 36 on your ACT. If you guys have any questions, just put them down in the comments below. Okay, so I'm here in the top right if you need. Okay, so how does the math section work? Well, the math section is literally just a bunch of math questions that you solve quickly. And this is for the in-class people. I'm also ACT tutor, so check out the link in bio. But yeah, this is for the in-person people. But math section, just a bunch of questions, and it's a bit different to the SAT, where the SAT is a lot of questions. I'm sorry, a lot less questions, but you have about double the time to solve them. But the ACT is a little lower in difficulty, but it's a lot. So here we go. What it covers, let me make myself a bit smaller. Boom. Okay, so it covers a lot of stuff, like all this. And hopefully we're gonna go over a decent amount of them. And if you have any questions about any of these, just comment down below. Okay, what math level should be? So the math level you should be is pre-calc. Pre-calc is perfect. If you know everything up to pre-calc, you will get a 36. You will probably get a 36. But if you don't know anything up to pre-calc, if you're like a bit lower, like in California we do AIM, but in AIM 3, or like if you're a bit under pre-calc, maybe like I don't know, like algebra 3, 2. But you're gonna struggle. You're definitely gonna struggle a bit on the test. So you're gonna need to try and self-study. I suggest going online, and I'll put some links in the bio, in the description of the video, to try and help you guys on what I think is a good website to study for the test. But if you're under pre-calc, then try and study on your own. If you're over pre-calc, then you're completely fine. And this is a shameless plug-in here, but you could get a tutor too. Wink, wink, wink. Okay, so the most important thing about the ACT Math is formulas. ACT Math, the great thing is that, the bad thing is the formulas aren't given, but the formulas are something that you memorize and you can convert to points really easily. Because a lot of the questions on the ACT are like one-step problems. You remember the formula and you just use it right away, and boom, you got your answer. You got your free points right there. Okay, and yeah, I'll put this link in the bio so you guys don't have to like manually type it out, and you can just click on it. But yeah, this really helped me. This was a really great website and had like all the math formulas I needed to know. Okay, so let's go over some of them. Formulas. So top, I'm going to say how many questions usually there are on this topic. And here for this one, it's 4 to 6 questions. So linear equations. I know we're starting off kind of easy. We're starting off quite easy. But you need to know your slope. If you don't know your slope, go back to 6th grade, go back to 5th grade, and ask your teacher, get on your knees and start asking them to help you out, man. Because slope is so important. Slope. And let me make myself bigger to try and emphasize this, man. You got to learn slope. You have to learn slope. Slope is just, teachers normally teach it y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. But in the ACT, you can just, do y1 minus y2, x1 minus x2. It doesn't really matter. Okay, and you want to know slope intercept form. This is pretty big too. You want to know slope intercept form. You see that here. Y equals mx plus b. M is your slope, and b is your, what was it? Oh, I wrote it down here. But yeah, y-intercept, and then x is the stuff you plug in, and the y is, the thing you get. You got to, here we go. The graph here, the y, x, and you should know this. Okay, and then the slope is just, and then b, y-intercept, something along here. Okay, midpoint formula. Well, midpoint formula, you can kind of think of it, it's like, you're probably going to notice on the test, you can figure it out on the test by yourself, but it's going to be x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and y1 plus y2 over 2. It'll tell you the point in the middle. Use this formula if it ever asks you for the midpoint, or the middle point in the middle. That's what it'll say, a point in the middle. So let's go to some, never mind. More concepts. So this is, let me give some tips. If the slope is parallel to the slope of something else, it's the same slope. So it says, okay, there's a slope here, there's a line here, but there's something that's also parallel to it. They have the same slope. If the slope of something, oh my gosh, I'm too big. I'm too big to draw. Okay, let me just, sorry, there we go. Let's make myself smaller. If the slope of something is perpendicular to something, or makes a 90 degree to the thing, like this. If earlier example, we have the slope here, and the other slope is perpendicular to it. The slope is a negative reciprocal, which just means if it's positive, you flip it to negative. If it's negative to positive, and you also flip the number. What do I mean by flip the number? Well, if you have like a fraction, like, I don't know, like 3 over 2, you flip it 2 over 3. That's flipping the number. And in our case, we also got to flip the minus, and this is plus. This got to be minus. Okay, so this is flipping the reciprocal. That is when it's perpendicular, okay? And you might be like, okay, dude, but what about whole numbers? Well, whole numbers is basically just like, I don't know, 3 over 1. This just turns into 1 over 3. Boom, okay. So, let's get it. Let's try. And earlier example, this would be negative because, we also gotta, boom. Okay, so let's try. I'll count to 3, and then after I count to 3, I'll go to the answer. So try and pause the video and find this out for yourself. 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, so this is pretty easy. Yeah, it's just 3. You just gotta do, your slope thing from what we said earlier. Okay, so let's try this. What is slope of the line given by the equation? I won't give you any hints. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. The answer is going to be D. It's going to be D because we have to change this to slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. Oh, and if you already know all this, just like skip ahead into stuff you might not know. So y equals mx plus b. Okay, well we can move this y over here and just be like 5y, make it positive. And we know that 5y plus 3x equals 30. And okay, we want to move the x over here. So let's just do 5y equals 30. Or let's make it simpler. Sorry. No, don't erase all. Whatever. Okay. Which is 30 minus 3x, which is just okay. So we know that. I'll make it so it's in slope-intercept form. I'll move it over here. 5y equals negative 3x plus 30. Okay. What is slope of the line? Well, we have to divide by 5 now. So we get y equals negative 3 over 5x plus 6. Okay, negative 3 over 5. Now that is our slope right there. Sorry for a really bad handwriting. In a standard xy coordinate plane, what is slope of the line that is perpendicular to the line, blah, blah, blah. Okay, 3, 2, 1, boom. So the answer is going to be negative 5 over 12 because, we do the same thing from earlier. We find out that the slope of this thing is going to be 12 over 5. And then we get the negative reciprocal, which is just going to be A right here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So let's let it go along. Okay, formulas. So again, we're gonna talk about geometry now. So geometry, try to remember all the formulas for shape. They're on the website. And like I said, the formulas, they're not too hard to memorize. Like literally just give yourself, I don't know, like a couple days to memorize them if you don't know them at all. And if you already do know them, great. Great job. You're probably gonna score really high on the ACT. Okay, I might turn on some music later. Maybe later. Okay, so Pythagoras. I hope I don't get copyrights right. Copies right or whatever. Okay, Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so this is used with the right angle triangles. You only use with right angle triangles, but here's the thing. On ACT, normally if it's a triangle, you're probably going to try and assume it's just a right angle triangle. So A is a side, B is a side, and C is a hypotenuse. Hopefully you know this. Hopefully you know this. So the triangle area is 1/2 times base times height. Hopefully you also know this. And also, we also need to know special right triangles. Special right triangles, if a triangle is a right triangle and it has a 45 degree angle, you're going to know that this this line and this line are equal, and this line is actually just this line right. The hypotenuse is just this times square root of 2. And then other one, if it's a 30, 60, 90 triangle, well, you just know you can know that if this line right here, right across 30, is going to be I don't know, like X or A, let's call it A here, and this length from the 90 degree is going to be double of this line, and then this line right here is going to be A times square root of 3. Okay, so now that's the triangle stuff. Let's talk about circles. All right, circles. So circle area is going to be pi r squared, and circle circumference is going to be 2 pi r. Okay, so here's the thing. If a circle has 360 degrees, if a problem asks, and normally there's a problem like this always. If a problem asks for the area of blank degrees of a circle, you just have to do blank divided by 360, and blank here is like the degrees. Blank degrees divided by 360 times the area of the circle. Because you're given the circle here, and then I don't know, let's say it's 180 degrees. It's okay, 180 degrees, and they want you to find the area of this right here. You're just going to do 180. Oh my gosh, find the area of the whole triangle boom, 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 180 divided 360, really bad handwriting, I'm sorry, but it's just gonna be 1/2 times the area right there. Okay, let's go on to let's try. Okay, so the triangle has one leg of 5 inches, another leg of 8 inches. What's the length of the hypotenuse? Okay, so I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. It's just going to be this, or you can just do this. Depends on what the ACT offers. Okay, so a circle has a diameter of 18 inches. If the section of circle is 90 degrees, what is the area of that section? Okay, let's try this in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so here we go. So we know the area. We need to find a diameter, which is 2 times. We know the diameter is 2 times radius. We know that radius is 9 inches. So we can find the circle area by doing pi times 9 squared. And then we know that circle area is, just 91 times pi, because 9 squared is 81. And the section area, we just multiply 81 pi times 90 degrees over 360 degrees. All right, next one. So now let's get on to the statistics. Okay, so the thing about statistics is that at least for my ICT, I had to know a decent amount of statistics. I took AP Stats, so it was good. So if you take AP Stats, and the first 3 units of AP Stats is going to be really helpful here. But if you don't know that much stats, it's okay. Normally, these are the ones that tested, and mean, median, mode, and probability is going to be tested. But sometimes there's some stat stuff that you need to know, and if you know AP Stats, that's good. I'm repeating myself now, but here we go. So you want to know mean is average, median is the middle one, and mode is the most common one. So what do I mean by that? Well, okay, so if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, sorry. Let's just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We know that all this added together is going to equal 15. So we know that this is going to be 15. And we know that the average of this is going to be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got to divide this by 5. And we get 3. The average of this is 3. Okay, let's use the same example. Middle one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry for the bad handwriting. Well, the middle one is literally just here. Middle one. Middle one right there. If it's the odd number, it's the you usually just tell by dividing by 2 and rounding up. If it's even number, then divide it by 2, the numbers, and then average the 2 middles, 2 numbers here. Let's give an example. 1, 2, 3, 4. If it's an even number, you want to find the median will be the one average between these two. So it's going to be 2.5. Okay, mode is the most common one. So we're gonna need to use a different example. 1, 1, 1, 3. What's the mode? Well, the mode is going to be 1, because 1 is the most common one. Probability is just desired outcome divided by total possible outcomes. And you might want to know combination and permutations, but I think that's on the website that I'll give you, so it's good. It should be fine. Okay, and if you really want to push for a good score, yes, stats are crucial. I want to emphasize this. Stats is pretty crucial. There's sometimes gonna be some BS stats question that you swear you've never been taught before. So you want to know, study the first 3 units of AP Stats. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, but if you don't, that's completely fine. You'll still probably score really good. Okay, so let's try this, and I'll go to give the answers in 3, 2, 1. Okay, mean is 43.1, median is 36.5, mode is 19. Okay, so I didn't give a question about probability. Okay, it's okay. Probability is not too hard. All right, next one. Let's go talk about some trigonometry. Okay, so trig, the bane of all existence for pre-calc students. Trigonometry. Trigonometry is so big. This is why if you know pre-calc, you're set. You're good. You're good. But if you don't know pre-calc, it's gonna be hard. But let's try and go over some trig. Okay, so so there's sine, cosine, tangent. The stuff above is known as SOHCAHTOA. So what do I mean by this? Okay, so SOHCAHTOA, let's go over this. Do I give an example? Okay, let's try. Okay, so let's talk about here. So SOHCAHTOA. So we have the angle here. Angle, we call this theta, but let's just call it angle. We have angle here, mystery angle here. So we have the angle here, and we want to find out what it is. So let's say we use sine. So sine is going to be opposite. So it's an opposite and hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. So it's going to be opposite. Opposite is literally the line opposite to the angle. Let's try. If the angle was here, the opposite would be here. and well, we know that the opposite is angles here, and the line would be over there. That's what opposite is. Okay, so now we know what opposite is. We know what opposite is. What is hypotenuse? Well, oh my goodness. Okay, hypotenuse is the longest angle. Hypotenuse is this one right here. Is Mr. Big Bad C over here. So we know that sine theta is going to be opposite. So it's going to be, in our case, is going to be A opposite over hypotenuse over C. Cool. So, so. So we know so. Now let's go to ka. Ka is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. So we know that adjacent is going to be the line that the angle is closest is like on, but it's not the hypotenuse. So here we know it's going to be B, because you see that it's connected to hypotenuse and B. We know it's going to be B. Now let's say, for example, let's say this was our angle over here. The adjacent one would be this line, because it's connected to the hypotenuse in this angle, and it's how the adjacent can't be hypotenuse, so it has to be this one right here. Okay, so let's go back to our mystery angle. Mystery angle, we know that B is our adjacent. So cosine is, I'm writing down here, adjacent over hypotenuse. Okay, so we know that B is our adjacent, B over, and we know that C is our hypotenuse, C. Okay, so we know that to find cosine of mystery angle is B over C. Okay, so let's go to tangent. So we learned about ka. Now we want to learn about toa. Toa. I don't know why I did that. All right, so toa. All right, so toa is going to be opposite over adjacent. So now we know what opposite is, because we're absolute freaking geniuses. We know what opposite is, and we also know what adjacent is because we learned about it. So A is opposite for here, and B is adjacent. So we know that is A over C, because B. Cool. All right, because it's opposite over adjacent. Cool. Okay. Also, something you want to know is that sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. You might need to know this. I think I only use this like once on my ACT, but it's useful to know this. It's useful to know this because you might, I don't know, ACT might throw a curveball, and you might have to know all these. Okay, so sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. All right, let's get it. Let's try. Okay, calculate the side of the right triangle labeled X. All right, I'll give you 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, so here's our answer. So sine degree equals opposite over hypotenuse. Sine 40 equals x over 8, because we got the opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, we know that opposite is x, hypotenuse is 8. Okay, so we know that's boom boom boom, sine boom equals opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, we know that opposite is x, hypotenuse is 8, and we know we plug in sine 40. And this is where the calculator comes in handy. Let me emphasize this. Actually, no, let me not emphasize this. Just use your calculator. Okay, so we got sine 40 equals x over 8. X equals sine, we do some algebra, and we know that x equals sine 40 times 8, and you have 5.14. Kaboom! Okay, so formulas. Okay, unlike the SAT, oh wait, I already said this, but formulas are not given on the ACT, so you have to memorize them. All right, let's logarithms. Okay, logarithms. Okay, the reason why I put this here is because on one of my practice ACTs, there's like a bunch of logarithms for no reason. I was like, holy cannoli, man, I can't do this. But so yeah, don't worry, logarithms, they sound harder than they actually are. They're a bit tricky, but once you get used to them, you're bueno, you're mucho bueno. I think I said that wrong, but it's okay. All right, so log b of x equals y. Okay, log b of x equals y. So this turns into b of y equals x. So what do I mean? Well, if it's if it's like log, I don't know, like 2, 5 equals y. Well, we know that means 2y equals 5. And don't worry, on the ACT, there won't be some like BS numbers like this. There will actually be numbers that work pretty decently easily. Okay, next one. Log bxy equals log bx plus log by. So literally just if you can multiply this, you can just split it up like Moses in the Red Sea and just add them up together. Okay, so what about this one? Log bx over y. Log bx minus log by. Okay, this is just division here. This is just division. And when you do division, you minus. So I kind of like that. Like, when you multiply, it's plus, divide is minus. Okay, and here's the example here. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Let's get on to the next question. Okay, formulas. So I know this is like a whole bunch, but don't worry. This is like, I think, one of the last things we hear. But you gotta know your exponent rules. Oh my gosh. You gotta know exponent rules. You gotta know how to FOIL. You gotta know how to factor, man. You gotta know the factor. And, well, you gotta know your quadratic formula. It's useful if there's like a unfactorable thing where you can't just, just like BS it by factoring. You have to know the quadratic formula. You have to know absolute value. You have to know properties of parallel lines. You have to know sum of interior angles. You have to know like a polygon. Actually, this one, it's like you should know it, but try to know it. Okay, and you need to know systems of equations for sure. Imaginary numbers. Okay, this one is like occasionally tested, but it's good to know. And then arithmetic and geometric sequences. Okay, so this is like if it's 1, 3, 5, 7. What's the next number? Well, it's just gonna be 9 because you keep adding plus 2. Okay, so try and know these, man. Try and know these. And I'm going to try and clip farm now. I'm going to try and clip farm so I can get more views on YouTube Shorts and Reels and TikTok to increase the scene. Okay. So, and it's also pretty big too. But I want to emphasize this. The ACT is a test of time. ACT is a test of time, man. So be sure to go quick. And make sure to have your calculator, man. The calculator is so important. And make sure to take a lot of practice ACTs. Make sure to do all this and hopefully you'll get your 36. Alright, boom, I did my clip farming, and let's go over. So heads up, seen that recently ACT Math, well this kind of like all the time, they always like test some random concepts and ideas. So I think this, alright, here we go. So good luck. Math is probably the easiest score to raise your ACT score on, but also the one that you need to know the most on. What do I mean by this? Well, kind of like what I said earlier, you need to memorize, memorizing formulas is decently easy, okay? It's decently easy. But it's you do need to know a decent amount of formulas. If math is your weakest section, I highly suggest getting tutored for ACT. Oh, dang, okay, shameless plugin. Okay, I like this. But yeah, we need tutoring, link in bio. Tutoring allows for you to hit your weakest parts of math and also for you to learn what parts are needed. Oh, that's true, that is true. Okay, if you're serious about increasing your ACT score, okay. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that is it. That is the complete ACT math. If you have any questions at all, put them in the comments and I'll try to help you out. Alright, good luck on your ACT and make sure to remember this. The ACT is a test of time, so take your practice test and build your stamina. Good luck.